My fellow countrymen, on this occasion the oath I have taken before you and before God is not mine alone, but ours together. We are one nation and one people. Our fate as a nation and our future as a people rest not upon one citizen, but upon all citizens. This is the majesty and the meaning of this moment. For every generation there is a destiny. For some, history decides. But for this generation, the choice must be our own. Even now, a rocket moved towards Mars. It reminds us that the world will not be the same for our children, or even for ourselves in a short span of years. The next man to stand here will look out on a scene different from our own, because ours is a time of change, rapid and fantastic change bearing the secrets of nature, multiplying the nations, placing in uncertain hands new weapons for mastery and destruction, shaking old virtues and uprooting old ways. Our destiny in the midst of change will rest on the unchanged character of our people and our faith. The American covenant. They came here, the exiled and the stranger, brave but frightened, to find a place where man could be his own man. They made a covenant with this land, conceived in justice, written in liberty, bound in union. It was meant one day to inspire the hopes of all mankind, and it binds us still. If we keep its terms, we shall flourish. Justice and change. First, justice was the promise that all who made the journey would share in the fruits of the land. In a land of great wealth, families must not live in hopeless poverty. In a land rich in harvest, children must not go hungry. In a land of healing miracles, neighbors must not suffer and die unattended. In a great land of learning and scholars, young people must be taught to read and to write. For the more than 30 years that I have served this nation, I have believed that this injustice to our people, this waste of our resources, was our real enemy. For 30 years or more, with the resources I have had, I have vigilantly fought against it. I have learned and I know that it will not surrender easily. But change has given us a new weapon. Before this generation of Americans is finished, this enemy will not only retreat, it will be conquered. Justice requires us to change that when any citizen denies his fellow, saying, well, hey, his color is not mine, or hey, his beliefs are strange and different. In that moment, he betrays America. Though his forebears created this nation, the life of his neighbors, and his nation. This has become more difficult in a world where change and growth seem to tower beyond the control and even the judgment of men. We must work to provide the knowledge and the surroundings which can enlarge the possibilities of every citizen. The American Covenant called on us to help show the way for the liberation of man. And that is today our goal. Thus, if as a nation there is much outside our control, as a people, no stranger is outside our hope. Change has brought new meaning to the old mission. We can never again stand aside, prideful in isolation. Terrific dangers and troubles that we once called foreign now constantly live among us. If Americans' lives must end, and American treasure be spilled in countries we barely know, that is the price that change has demanded of conviction and of our enduring covenant. Think of our world as it looks from the rocket that is headed towards Mars. It is like a child's globe, hanging in space, the continents stuck to its side like colored maps. We are all fellow passengers on a dot of Earth, and each of us in the span of time, has really only a moment among our companions. How incredible it is that in this fragile existence we should hate and destroy one another. There are possibilities enough for all who will abandon mastery over others to pursue mastery over nature. There is a world enough for all to seek their own happiness in their own way. Our nation's course is abundantly clear. We aspire to nothing that belongs to others. We seek no dominion over the fellow men, but man's dominion over tyranny and misery. But more is required. Men want to be part of a common enterprise, a cause that is greater than ourselves. Each of us must find a way to advance the purpose of the nation, thus finding new purpose for ourselves. Without this, we shall become a nation of strangers. Union and change. The third article was union. To those who were small and few against the wilderness, the success of liberty demanded the strength of union. 2 centuries of change have made this true again. No longer need capitalist and worker, farmer and clerk, city and countryside struggle to divide our bounty. By working shoulder to shoulder, together we can increase the bounty of all. We have discovered that every child who learns, every man who finds work, every sick body that is made whole like a candle added to an altar brightens the hopes of all the faithful. So let us reject any among us who seek to reopen old wounds and rekindle old hatreds. They stand in the way of a seeking nation. Let us now join reason to faith and action to experience to transform our unity of interest into a unity of purpose. For the hour and the day and the time are here to achieve progress without strife, to achieve change without hatred, not without difference of opinion, but without the deep and abiding divisions which scar the Union for generations. The American belief. Under this covenant of justice, liberty, and union, we have become a nation, prosperous, great, and mighty, and we have kept our freedom. But we have no promise from God that our greatness will endure. We have been allowed by Him to seek greatness with the sweat of our hands and the strength of our spirit. I do not believe that the Great Society is the ordered, changeless, unsterile battalion of the ants. It is the excitement of becoming, always becoming, trying, probing, falling, resting, and trying again, but always trying and always gaining. In each generation, which toil and tears, we have to earn our heritage again. If we fail now, we shall have forgotten in abundance what we learned in hardship. That democracy rests on faith, that freedom asks more than it gives, and that the judgment of God is harshest on those who are most favored. If we succeed, it will not be because of what we have done, but it will be because of what we are. Not because of what we own, but rather because of what we believe. For we are a nation of believers. Underneath the clamor of building and the rush of our day's pursuits, we are believers in justice and liberty and union, and in our own union. We believe that every man must someday be free, and we believe in ourselves. Our enemies have always made the same mistake in my lifetime, in depression and in war. They have awaited our defeat. Each time, from the secret places of the American heart, came forth the faith they could not see, or they could not even imagine. It brought us victory, and it will again. For this is what America is all about. It is the uncrossed desert and the unclimbed ridge. It is a star that is not reached and the harvest sleeping in the unplowed ground. Is our world gone? We say farewell. Is a new world coming? We welcome it, and we will bend it to the hopes of man. To these trusted public servants and to my family and those close friends of mine who have followed me down a long winding road, and to all of the people of this union and the world, I will repeat today what I said on that sorrowful day in November 1963. I will lead, and I will do the best I can. But you must look within your own hearts to the promises and to the old dreams. They will lead you of all best. For myself, I ask only in the words of an ancient leader. Give me now wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people. For who can judge this thy people that is so great? Thank you so much.
My friends, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain a little. Number one, it's free. Two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you've ever been looking for to make a podcast in one place. Go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Your journey to financial fitness begins with just one step. It can seem daunting to get all your financial ducks in a row, but the beauty of any journey is that it doesn't happen all at once. Step by step, goal by goal, do that next good thing by putting financial protection in place with life insurance. Then, no matter what happens in your financial or life journey, your loved ones will be okay financially. Take that first step today. Click on the link below and schedule an appointment with me. I can help.